If you're a nurse who has been Googling how to make money online at 2 a.m. between your shifts, I see you. You're not lazy. You're just done giving up weekends, holidays, working all the off shifts, and basically giving up a life for a job that you're not even paid well enough to be able to support your family. I mean, you're done being paid like a shift worker when you're basically running your unit like a CEO. And I get you. I'm Cindy. I've been an RN for 44 years and I retired last year after 43 years because I couldn't do it anymore either. And in all of those 43 years of full-time nursing, I never made six figures. Never made six figures. Now, my kids and I were not destitute, but we didn't make enough to live in these big grand mansions. We didn't make enough. I didn't make enough to live debt free, right? So I knew when I went into retirement, I was going to have to continue making money online somehow because I wasn't willing to work for anybody else. So stay tuned because in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use your nursing skills to earn money online. 5 ways. So this video is going to be your roadmap to show you how to build income outside of nursing without going back to school. So let's talk about a couple of truth bombs. Nursing is supposed to be the #1 most trusted profession, but we're not paid like it. We're not treated like it, are we? Most of us are underpaid and we are definitely understaffed. Definitely understaffed. Can I get an amen? And a lot of us are all working 2 jobs, sometimes 3. I worked 3 jobs for 15 years, 7 days a week because I had no choice. I had 3 kids by myself, very little child support, if none, for many, many years. So you do what you have to do because as nurses, we are survivors. We figure things out, right? And I don't know about you, but at this point in my life, I'm now 64, I'm done. I'm done being told what I'm going to make. And there are ways to make money. There are lots of ways to make money. So stay tuned. Nurses, we all know that you've sacrificed your family, holidays, weekends, kids' events, schools' events, just so that you can go to work and work short-staffed, working holidays with a skeleton crew. And ooh, maybe they'll give you a free dinner. Whoopee, right? Here's the truth. You don't have an ethics problem. You have a profit problem, right? You're making money for everybody else while your body mentally and physically breaks down. That's right, you heard me. But here's the good news. Nurses have leverage because we are trusted. People do trust us. And you know how to communicate under pressure. You're good at problem solving. There's those critical thinking skills coming in, right? And you can break down complex things into very simple steps. It's just like following a policy and procedure, right? When you first went to nursing school, you thought, how am I ever going to manage, 5, 6, and now I hear people are having 7 patients on the floor. But you do figure it out. It may not be well, and it may not be the way you want, but you figure it out, right? Because that's what we do. That's how our brains are wired. And so we know how to do that and to critically think and pick out the key elements and figure out how to put it into practice. And that's what the online market pays for. It pays for those types of skills. So stay tuned. And down in the description, if you can't watch this whole thing right now, you'll find I have a roadmap that I can share with you on how to do all this, how to implement all of this. The first option would be remote clinical nursing jobs like utilization review, telephone triage, pre-authorizations for the insurance companies, auditing charts, telehealth, those types of things. So it's still within nursing, but it's all done remote, okay? And does it sound dreamy? Well, yeah, I guess it could be. You could work from home in your scrubs or your pajamas, whatever you choose. But here's the catch. It is still a job. It is still a job. And you're still clocking in and you're still making money for somebody else. You have a boss, and in many cases, you may get paid less than you would at the bedside. But if you just want to break from 10 and 12-hour shifts or even 16-hour shifts, or maybe you've got small kids at home and you can't do the shift work, this is a good way to break it up. And some of this, like telephone triage, you could even do after hours, so that then when your partner is home, you wouldn't have to put the kids in daycare. So it does give you more flexibility, but again, you're still working for somebody else, right? And if you want more freedom, then you need to go beyond this. Nurses, we all know that you've sacrificed your family, holidays, weekends, kids' events, schools' events, just so that you can go to work and work short-staffed, working holidays with a skeleton crew, and ooh, maybe they'll give you a free dinner. Whoopee, right? Here's the truth. You don't have an ethics problem. You have a profit problem, right? You're making money for everybody else while your body mentally and physically breaks down. That's right, you heard me. But here's the good news. Nurses have leverage because we are trusted. People do trust us. And you know how to communicate under pressure. You're good at problem solving. There's those critical thinking skills coming in, right? And you can break down complex things into very simple steps. It's just like following a policy and procedure, right? When you first went to nursing school, you thought, how am I ever going to manage, 5, 6, and now I hear people are having 7 patients on the floor. But you do figure it out. It may not be well, and it may not be the way you want, but you figure it out, right? Because that's what we do. That's how our brains are wired. And so we know how to do that and to critically think and pick out the key elements and figure out how to put it into practice. And that's what the online market pays for. It pays for those types of skills. So stay tuned. And down in the description, if you can't watch this whole thing right now, you'll find I have a roadmap that I can share with you on how to do all this, how to implement all of this. Yeah, and so when you talk about niching down your products, like for instance, you might want to do something like a planner for a new ICU nurse as opposed to a generic nurse planner, right? Because the needs are different. So again, you want to look at your market. They say you solve one problem well and it will keep paying you. Your third option is affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing is basically recommending products that you know, like, and trust, and you already use and getting paid to do so when somebody else buys it. So think of it this way. When you're posting that picture of the new outfit you just bought at, wherever, whatever, Amazon, and then you include a link, that's affiliate marketing, okay? When you talk about that trip that you just took to some particular resort, that's affiliate marketing. So with Amazon, you get between 1 and 10% of commissions, and you don't have to have any followers. There's no number required, right? And then reward style is another one. You usually have to have at least 1,000 followers, and you get about 10 to 20% commission. It's not a lot. Then other brand affiliates, like companies that sell scrubs, things like that, you could make 10 to 30% commission. NCLEX apps or nursing tools, that's a little higher at 40%. There's lots of other affiliate companies out there, skincare, CBD, lots of different things out there. And those commissions run anywhere from 25 to 30%. But remember, a lot of those you have to stock product, right? You may or may not, but it's a physical product. I personally prefer not to have to stock a physical product. And affiliate marketing, you're not stocking a physical product. So the reality is you're not going to get rich over the commissions that you make off of Amazon. But the reality is if you create content around problems, then you will be successful. So instead of saying, buy these shoes, say 3 things that saved my feet on night shift, and that's what converts. That's what grabs that attention. You have to get that pain point in first, and then you pivot, and then you show the possibility, and then you show the solution. Your fourth option is coaching and courses. Now, you don't have to be, have a master's degree in education to be able to do this. You don't have to be a big tech guru. You just have to be 3 steps ahead of the nurse that you're helping. So for instance, NCLEX tutoring, because we all know that there's a method on how you take those tests, and those NCLEX review courses are really expensive and very time consuming. But if you could come up with a guide on how to choose the best answer, because we all know as nurses that a lot of times on those tests, it's not a right or wrong answer, it's the best answer, right? And there's a key to figuring that out. New grad mentorship, how to set up a mentoring program, mentoring new grads to get through that first and second year that are so difficult until they can transition and get some experience on their own. Travel nurse coaching, what do you want to look for? What are the best places to go? What should you ask for in your contract? And in the reality, are you really making any money? Because yeah, you're getting paid big bucks, but there's a price to pay for that too. So travel nurse coaching is another way that you could lay out the problem and then offer the solution. And then time management for nurse moms. I mean, oh my Lord, when my kids were little and I had to be to work at 6:45 in the morning, you have to get lunches ready the night before. I had to take them to a friend's house that I had to pay to drive them to school. So there's a lot of time management tricks that we may not even be aware of, or when you're so stressed, you don't even think about it. So that's another market that you could provide education to. So the first thing to package it, you want to define the outcome. Like, what are they going to get out of this? Are they going to get more stress, or is it going to solve a problem? How to pack a lunch that your kids will actually eat, for instance, right? And then you want to pick the format. Are you going to do one-to-one calls? Are you going to do group coaching calls? Are you going to do it over Zoom? Will it be pre-recorded? So you just have to figure out those logistics. And even Zoom, you can get, I think it's 45 minutes on Zoom at a time for free. So you could even start out that way. And then once your business grows, then you might want to go into the paid version because you're not capped by that 45 minutes. Then you want to use very simple tools like, StanStore, Beacon Store, Zoom, Canva, Trello. All of these have free options. Beacons is also free. You can upgrade to a paid version. But again, until you start bringing in income, personally, I recommend starting with the free versions. Don't go trying to create this big, massive course and then test it. Start by talking to about 5 nurses, okay? Solve their problem and go from there. Do your market research. Fifth option is freelance. These are things that are very, very flexible because it works on your time and your schedule, and you decide if you're going to accept the job or not accept the job. You're going to negotiate what you're going to earn, and so on. So the ball is truly in your court, and it's based on your expertise and what you're willing to put into it. Nurses are excellent freelancers because we are organized, we're detailed, and we are reliable. You can offer like medical writing for blogs, for CEUs, health articles, product copy like technical writing, resume services for new grads or travel nurses, right? When I started out in nursing, I never had a resume. That word didn't even exist in my vocabulary. I did not have a resume until I was in my 40s. Yes, you heard me, my 40s. Now I have one, but now I don't intend to apply for a job, so it doesn't matter. Virtual assistant for health coaches or health brands, that's another one, and that's another one that you can work around your time and your schedule remotely. Social media management, there's a lot of content out there. And some of these brands get really, really big and they need someone to manage the social media. So that's another one that you can do. Places that you can start to find these types of jobs would be Upwork, Fiverr, LinkedIn, or even just cold messaging DMs, some brands on Instagram, right? But don't underestimate this. Some nurses are making thousands of dollars a month part-time. So here's the truth. You don't need to quit nursing overnight, and I actually wouldn't recommend it. You just need to stop depending on it as your only source of income, because that's not going to buy you the freedom, right? Every option that I shared, nurses are already doing it. The difference is they stopped waiting for permission. They stopped waiting for somebody to save them. They stopped waiting for the right time. You just have to stop overthinking it. So if you want help figuring out which path is best for you, drop a comment below or send me a message and put put exit in the comments and I will send you my free roadmap. See you later.